Hello and welcome, everybody. It's Coach Laura Rubinstein, your president and co-founder, president of Transform Today, and creator of the Savvy Social Media Success System. So I am super excited today because I have an incredible amount of information to give you on how to get socially savvy and position yourself for profits online. And I am really excited about this year. You're probably feeling the great energy in 2015. So every year at the beginning of the year, I do a webinar to give people the experience, the information, the know-how of what to do online as they are growing their business. So I'm passionate about small business owners, and this webinar is dedicated to you, the small business owner. So let's get started. I'm going to show my screen, and if you're wanting to chat with us, we're at coachlaurawebinar.com, and if you're watching the replay, then all you need to do, if you still may make a comment in the comment box that's right to the right of me. I guess it's that way. Yeah, one of these ways, right? Oh, who knows? Anyway, we're going to get started with some content, jump right in because I've got so much to share with you today. And just for those of you who don't know me, I'm just totally involved in the world of entrepreneurship. And what my foundation is relationships. Many of you may never have done marketing before, and you may not think you're good at marketing, but let me ask you this. Do you value relationships? Because I have good news if you do. You can do marketing better than a marketer who doesn't. So I want to encourage you to keep an open mind that social media is a place that if you value relationships, you can flourish. And this time is for you to get grounded in your value and to understand how your value can be exploded on social media, meaning you can get a hold of people you otherwise wouldn't have had an opportunity to joint venture with, to work with as clients, to give you leads and be ambassadors for you. So, and also maybe hire you for speaking engagements or other areas that they need your presence and resilience and expertise in. So without further ado, I want to let you know that you may think you need to be a savvy marketer or whatever, but I have clients who were just willing to put themselves out there and connect with people, and they started thriving. Ron Burke is a professor at Johns Hopkins, and he's a PowerPoint coach. And he was able to start reaching out on LinkedIn and leverage his connections, make new connections, which resulted in new inquiries for speaking and prospects for his PowerPoint business. And Elaine is an animal communicator. So, not a marketer, but she was open to, sharing her passion for animals online and communicating with them. And she connected with tons of prospects just by learning how to be her naturally relationship-oriented self, So you want to start putting yourself out there relationship-wise. And why do I say that? Because my whole history in marketing, which is over 22 years now, has been relationship-based. And by the time social media came around, it was like it was made for me and people like me and my clients and people like you who value relationships and have an incredible passion to serve people and to really make a difference and change the world in some way for the better. And before getting involved with social media marketing, I had over 16 years of relationship-based marketing consulting experience with financial advisors and other small business owners. But really, I was helping these top advisors increase their client base and assets under management by as much as $80 million in a quarter. And it was all through building relationships strategically. In 2013, I was recognized as a small business influencer with the Champion Award, and I've worked with celebrity clients, coaches, thought leaders, you name it. If you have a passion to get your work out there, chances are I can support you. Everything from a, engineering contractor and engineers in general, to dentists I've worked with, to financial advisors, small business owners, artists, brick and mortar. There's so many perspectives I bring to the table that I wanted to share that with you. And last year also in 2014, I wrote my book, Social Media Myths Busted, and it became an Amazon best-selling author. So some fun facts about me. And I love creating content to train people. So here we are today. And just so you know, for those of you who stay to the end, we'll be giving away a very special and totally free gift to every attendee or watcher of this replay. So more details on that in a little bit. So can you relate to this? And you're welcome to chat with me, by the way, if you'd like to, in the chat box over to my right there. And you just click in towards the bottom there of the right-hand white box, and you'll be able to say hello, tell us where you're tuning in from, and or any questions. But can you relate to this? You got your business started, you started posting on social media, and you got no results, unfortunately. For some reason, no one was responding, and you might think it's you, and it could be something you're doing, and it could also be the way you're doing it that is either visible. So today, what I'm going to cover is the social media opportunity for 2015. What's important to know this year about social media? I want to make sure you're not using 2007 strategies on a 2015 evolved platform. What are these major networks and which ones are right for you? It's a big, huge step for business owners. They think they need to be everywhere, and I've got great news for you. You don't. You definitely don't need to be everywhere. Hopefully that's good news. We want to choose the places that are right for you. And I will go through my social media marketing blueprint steps. We won't have time to go into each one, but I'm going to be covering which networks are right for you. Choosing a right network is the one in blueprint step we're going to go into in depth. So at least you'll get that piece of it today. And then I'll show you how you can get savvy with social media and profiting online. So here's 2015. Your focus, I encourage you to take on, is visual content marketing. What is visual content marketing, you ask? It's the use of video and images on social media, and using them for marketing purposes. Why do I say this? Because over the last year, we've had a 75% increase in video posting worldwide, and 87% of the interactions on social media were on posts with photos. Okay, so photos and videos are getting a lot of airtime, a lot of it causing a lot of visibility. Twitter even added photos to their feed, if you noticed, last year. So everybody's on board with the visual content marketing because people consume it naturally. It's just automatic. We're visual people for the most part. And how does social media lead to sales? Do you believe it leads to sales? Well, let's talk about this. 4 out of 5 people on the internet are on social networks and blogs. Pretty cool, huh? That's a pretty strong percentage. It's 80%. And 70% of adult social networkers shop online. So they're not afraid to buy something online. In fact, they spend 20 to 40% more than other customers online. So you want to connect with your market on the social networks. And you want to be able to bring them home, as I like to say, to your website where they can buy stuff, get to know you better, enroll in your email list. And it's not just because you ask them to, it's because you give them something. That's a whole separate part of my course. And, but having your website up to snuff is important. If your website is not up to snuff, please contact me. I would be happy to help you do that. I often run into clients in social media that need that web presence. So about 3 years ago, we started doing websites for our clients so they could thrive online. And check this out. 86% of buyers wanted to access interactive or visual content on demand. That leads me to, what I do. For those of you who don't know a lot about what I've done, but for the last 8 years, has it been now? Yeah, since 2009. So no, it's been 6 years. Maybe the end of 2008. So it's been about almost 7 years now. If I'm doing my math correctly, and feel free to correct me on the chat box there. But anyway, for someone who can do math. Anyway, I started leading a course online. Okay, so kind of like what we're doing here today. You're watching this online. I'm training you. You can interact in the chat box, that kind of thing. And now it's just at such a higher level. I have a whole membership site. And if anybody's interested in creating a membership site, meaning a site where you can put your intellectual content, that property that you want to teach people, and have a system that takes their money and takes care of them, they can watch your videos in a sequential order, then let me know, because I have a fabulous system that we use and I adore, and it's all on demand. So I wanted to bring that up because I help people create their membership sites simply in like minutes, and it looks great. All right, so what you want to do with this visual content is not just create beautiful pictures or take photos and post them up. When you put in your description or you edit your photos or create graphics, put calls to action in there, or CTAs. What are call to action? What's a call to action? Well, it's telling someone to do something. What do you want these people to do? Even if it's simple as share this, retweet this, please follow me back. When you ask somebody to do it, you're more likely to get a result, them to take an action. One of the most popular advertisements on Facebook, which work, by the way, are download ads, content offers to download a free piece of content, whether it's a white paper or case study or an ebook, or sign up for a webinar. But actually, the webinars, and that's why it's next on the list, is not as effective for getting people to respond as download free. Now you can always have, and here's an inside ninja tip for you, you can always have a free download, and when they put their name and email in, the thank you page is an offer for a webinar, or is the webinar itself. Thank you for downloading the free ebook, and I wanted to give you extra value here, where and here's the webinar. Here's a free training for you. Stick around or come back to this page. I'll also send you, by the way, in your ebook email, a link to come back here. But in the meantime, here's the webinar. So you can have a webinar page. You can have a secondary opt-in if you want, depending on how you like to track your opt-ins, the people, what they do. So, and then of course, when you want to sell membership sites, by the way, you could do a free one. You could do a free membership to, some free content, and upsell them to a paid level. So you can have levels in your membership sites as well. So the key is, with your visual content, also be sure to include call to action. Now, don't use social media strictly for promotion. 20% at most, okay? But that 20% should be very, very strategic, and that's where this comes in. So where should you be? Probably wondering, okay, well, where do I do this? Well, by the way, on that last slide, Facebook, if you're going to do calls to action on Facebook, they prefer, if you pay for those posts, to be seen. You can put it up, but doesn't, maybe 6% is going to be seen. I would venture to say less than 3% at this point, because their whole model ever since they went public is profiting from ads. And the way they encourage ads is to increase the visibility of ads and decrease the visibility of free posts. And they have algorithms that seek out your posts and determine if they are promotional, calls to action. And if they are, they kind of degrade them, demote them, or show them less, in other words. So sorry for that news, but that's the reality, you know, about 8 years later into social media marketing. So the most popular networks you know of are listed, you probably know of all these. And we're going to go through a lot of them to share with you where should you be, why should you be on each one, who should be on there. And some of these you may not have heard of. Of course, the top row is the primary, and I probably would put Instagram up there now as well as a top row one. Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, YouTube, Google Plus is the top row. Then you have the RSS feed. That's a symbol for you have a blog, please. Your blog is essentially your own social network in a sense, because people can interact if you have the comments turned on. But more importantly, it's the place where you bring people home. And I want to make sure you do know that, you know, so many people put up a website and then they make a blog externally and then they link to the blog. And that's not the ideal. It's better if you have a blog embedded in your website so that people can get to your other pages on your website when they're reading your blog. This way you can convert them. And also you can put in an opt-in form right on the sidebar or at the bottom of your blog post. So it's great. Now, Instagram is a rising star. Facebook did buy it, by the way. And next to Instagram there, because Instagram is this middle one, and for those of you who don't realize, and then we have Tumblr. Tumblr is another kind of microblogging platform. And there's so many other platforms, just like Scoopit is another one, which is for content curation. And Yelp is for local businesses. Then there's StumbleUpon, Reddit, SlideShare. We'll talk about some of these. If you do have a local business, you will want to have a Yelp account. It adds so much search engine visibility, meaning when somebody searches on Yahoo, Bing, or Google Plus, on Google, Yelp listings come up. And here are some others that will come up as well. There's tons of them. If you're in the construction industry, Thumbtack is excellent. Some of these you do have to pay for. There's industry-specific ones as well. So these are just a smattering of what's out there. And if anybody wants to put in something that's worked really well for them in the chat box, you are welcome to do that. There's Empire Avenue as well, which is kind of taking the concept of the stock market and put it into social media, and people buy stock in you. It's cute. It's kind of a game. All right, but people are getting a lot of visibility from it. So which sites are right for you? You might be asking, where should I be, right? Well, first of all, the sites where your market is. So you may have to really think about this. And more than think about it is hang out on these social networks and search them for your people and see what's going on there, if anything. And the second is the sites that match your purpose. So there's a lot of reasons to be on social media, whether it's just to connect with colleagues and educate yourself or educate your consumers and your market. Some nonprofits are there to spread their message. And, you know, if your purpose is simply to sell stuff, I'm not going to really recommend social media marketing. I'm going to recommend advertising. And hopefully you're in the right spots on social media, depending on what your product or service is. If you are service oriented, then I highly recommend you have a purpose for becoming a thought leader and the go-to expert in your field. Okay, so let's go through each of these networks. Facebook is about people, and I have a P word for most of these networks, the main networks. Why should you be there? Should you be there? Well, you probably should have an account. Oops, we jumped to LinkedIn. Sorry about that. And I also want to say, yeah, it's about people, products, and services, and books is a Facebook, okay? And you know, speaking of content marketing, they are making a huge push for visual in the visual area with regards to video. You can now embed Facebook video onto your website. You can track the views. They have statistics on it now. So now they're also auto playing in the home feed and on the mobile devices. So video is getting a lot of visibility. You can now even do video ads. So you can turn the ad money into, you know, kind of commercials. And where else can you get a commercial for a few bucks a day? Not very many places. I mean, this is what I talk about all the time. The social media has leveled the marketing playing field for small businesses. So if you have consumer-oriented products and services, personal development, professional development, if you're a thought leader, that's who should be on Facebook with a Facebook page and growing your likes and building your reputation there and getting tons and tons of leads into your free downloads, okay, and into your email system, and building a relationship with those people through email and through interacting online. So please note, you only want one personal profile. I know so many people who have more than one, but it makes it confusing for people to find you. Number one. Number two, especially if you have 2 personal profiles and a business page or multiple business pages. Now you can have multiple business pages. That makes sense because you may have multiple businesses, but you are only one person. And it is against Facebook's terms to have more than one personal profile. So it's also unfair to others if you go ahead and have multiple profiles that you're using and it's unfair to people who are trying to stick to Facebook's rules. That being said, Facebook changes their rules frequently. So, you know, this could be out of date by the time you're listening to it. Probably not, but I do recommend having one personal profile simply because it makes it easier to be found as your person. I think people think they should get a second one because they filled up all their friends in the first one. Oh, yeah, but you know, if you do strategic friending, you can unfriend certain people and then refriend and do things like that. So, and then managing 2 profiles, that's a hassle. Most people are trying to cut down on their social media activity, not increase it unnecessarily. So I think an extra profile increases your activity there. So I recommend having multiple business pages because you'll do different things for different businesses. And that is perfectly in their terms. You can have as many businesses as you want or business pages. So, for example, here's my client, Shelly McCorder, and she teaches people how to be homeopaths and heal using homeopathy. And they have been using Facebook, but weren't getting a lot of results. I taught them some of my savvy social media strategies, and one of them immediately tripled their registration for their teleconference and instantly got them $2,600 in sales, and they weren't getting any sales before. So they attracted the right people and they were able to convert them. So I'm just, you know, if you tweak a little, doesn't have to be a huge effort. Just tweak a little bit of what you're doing online and you could see results too. So let's talk about Twitter. Twitter is all about perspectives, people sharing their opinions, and also the latest news. I like to call it the CNN, the new CNN. Twitter is the new CNN. It's pretty cool, right? So there's 284 million active users. That's up from 255 last year. And it is really great for positioning yourself as an industry leader because in small little snippets and bites and links to your website, you can let people know what you're an expert in. And it's a very, very noisy platform. So I give you permission to post a lot. And you can use some automated tools to do that. When you're interacting with people, I don't recommend you automate that, but I use, like, for example, I use Hootsuite. And when people mention me, guess what I do? I connect back with them and I mention them. I say, thanks for sharing or retweeting or mentioning me or ask them a question or answer their questions. So it's really a great, quick social media network to be a part of. And people don't get it, but think of it as the new CNN, where you can put out little snippets of information. You can read snippets of information. You can also be directed to larger pieces of information by links. So it's a kind of your own little news channel in a sense. And you can create lists of people you want to just look at it. Don't ever go to the homepage. I know Twitter doesn't like me to say that, but I find homepages on social networks very limiting in their usefulness. So, because, the social networks don't really, if you've connected with a lot of people, you don't really know that you're seeing the people you want to see. So you'll create lists to be more efficient and see what others are posting. So that's how I recommend you interact. Been doing a lot of training today, so I'm taking a sip of water here. But do your market. It's a great place to do market research. See what your competitors or colleagues are doing on Twitter and on other networks. But then it's also a great place to connect with journalists and engage with them. And social media has allowed you to now connect with people who, in leadership and influential roles, that you otherwise wouldn't have been able to do. So yet another benefit of being online. I hope you're excited about social media. I find myself, I'm often talking to people who are resistant, but the fact that you're here, I'm going to assume that you are like all gung-ho and you are ready to step into a bigger way of embracing social media for your business so that you can connect with more of your ideal clients. And speaking of that, LinkedIn is a great place to connect with professionals. There's 332 million users. 70% of them are 35 years and older. So it is great if you're trying to get access to inside corporate leaders, other salespeople in organizations, other business owners. And if you are, if you don't have the greatest web presence yourself, having an optimized LinkedIn profile gets you some Google juice, as they say. You can be found more easily through the search engines simply because you have a LinkedIn profile. So I highly recommend that you get an optimized LinkedIn profile. Now, one of the probably future bonuses that will be included in the Savvy Social Media Success System is, a whole little optimization tutorial for LinkedIn in particular. It's such a great network, and they keep adding some wonderful features to the personal profile. You can now put in slide shares. Oh, and I didn't really mention slide share, but we will in a few minutes. Videos, images, and highlight different publications. It's just a really good network for profiling yourself. It's probably the best network out there to do that. So Dr. Roberta Shaler, she's the relationship help doctor. One of my clients on LinkedIn, she received instant requests for speaking engagements just out of one simple LinkedIn strategy I gave her. And she got more traffic to her website from Pinterest than Facebook and Twitter combined. So let's talk about some more of these networks like Google+. And what they say is Google+ is about passions. People who are passionate, are really the experts in their field, wind up posting on Google+. Now, you may think, well, nobody I know is there, but it's Google. You'll get the Google juice again from that. There are 2.2 billion profiles. There's probably somewhere between 100 and 300 million active users. So it's really hard to tell how big Google+ is, but I ask you to think about, do you know anybody or do you know a lot of people who don't have a Google+, a Gmail account? Most people have some sort of Google account that you know. It's amazing, right? So they're already almost on it, basically. If they have a Gmail account, they just click one button, they got a Google+ account. It's all tied together because Google+ really is a social layer on top of all of the Google tools available. So they're all kind of tied together. If they have a YouTube account, they have a G Plus account. So take advantage also, speaking of that, of Google Hangouts on Air. Sorry that the air is covered up by the YouTube icon, but Google Hangouts on Air is the tie between Google Plus and YouTube. And in other words, you can create a video. That's what we're doing today. This is actually a Google Hangout on Air, started from within YouTube. You can start Google Hangouts on Air from either Google Plus events, by creating an event in Google Plus in a sense, or by creating a YouTube, what they call live event. But they both use the Hangouts on Air, same platform. And that's what we're doing today. And as you see, you're not seeing this on Google Plus. You're seeing it on my website, which is, beautiful thing. And it is a unlisted video, so only people who sign up for this webinar will be able to see it, because they will only get the link once they sign up. So it's a pretty amazing platform, Google Hangouts on Air. One of the bonuses that I offer in the Savvy Social Media Success System is a webcasting guide to Google Hangouts on Air. Everything you need from equipment, which is not much. You basically need a desk lamp, a webcam, and why I say a desk lamp is because you need light on your face if you're going to be on camera. Okay, you want that desk lamp right in front of you. And when I come back on screen, you'll be able to tell that I have a light in front of me, because you'll be able to see my screen, my face. It won't be darkened and shadowed, like so many people who don't just put a simple desk lamp in front of them have. So a desk lamp, a webcam, ideally a headset, though you don't have to. It could be your iPhone earbud, that's fine too, all the way up to a $300 or $400 microphone. And I give you in that checklist, the low, medium, and high options for each. So you can get started at any level and have video content. That what you could do with is make it that your free offer, your free video. Instead of a download, it's a free video. It's like easy peasy, wow. Visual content marketing doesn't have to be so cumbersome anymore. That's because we have tools like Google Hangouts on Air, or HOAs as they're called. So if you hear that term, you'll know it's a Google Hangout on Air, HOA, in the social media world. Pinterest is about pictures. There are more than 70 million users online. That statistic has not changed that I noticed. Perhaps there is a newer one since last year, but I will look and see if it has risen. The statistic I saw, though, recently is that it's 56% women and 44% male. And you might be wondering, how is that possible? In the US, it's probably higher amount of women to men. Men are more interested in Pinterest in Europe, interestingly enough. So they've made up for that. But who is this great for? It's really great for anyone who has a business in the consumer services and goods, visual brands, of course, whether it's fashion or decorating or art, anyone who does do-it-yourself or carpentry or crafts type of things, bloggers, this is great, and befores and afters. So makeovers, either makeup or home renovations or interior design or body makeovers, health and wellness, yoga, fashion, accessories, a lot of Etsy, which is a handicraft e-commerce location. A lot of Etsy people do very well on Pinterest. By the way, Pinterest, one of the most well-known reasons to be on Pinterest is because it drives a lot of traffic back to your website. So if you don't have a website where people can buy stuff from you, Pinterest isn't going to be as useful until you do have your website. Any of these networks really will be not as useful. But if you are having a great location on your own site to send people to buy stuff, then you'll do very well with Pinterest. Pinterest is also filled with infographics. So it's a great place to find content, visual content that you could then, a lot of times people create infographics and allow you then to embed them on your own site. And then you could share out to the other social networks those links to your site with other people's content on it. Wow, what a great idea, right? For leveraging other people's content because they're letting you do it. All right. Instagram is for pop culture. You know, it's the people who are into food, fashion, fitness, fun, auto, inspiration, things that are trending, hipsters. They allow you to do 15-second videos, which you'd be surprised what you could put in a 15-second video to share. It does have the highest engagement with name brands on there. And unlike Pinterest, when you can't click an image and go to a website, so you have to get a little bit more savvy in marketing. It's really a brand recognition type of environment. And you can put links in, but they're not clickable except for one link, which is in your bio. And you can change that. So you just really want to consider what, you know, strategically think how to use Instagram. And for people who work with me one-on-one, we put together some pretty savvy strategies and integrate it with the private messaging option in Instagram. So you can actually send people a information directly and build relationships there. It's pretty cool. But there are already 200 million active users. And if your market is the 18, and I'd say 18 to 34-year-old market, then you definitely want to be there. So let's talk about if you have a local business. So if anybody has a local business, feel free to share in the chat box to the right, CoachLauraWebinar.com. If you're not already there, it does redirect to a place on LauraRubinstein.com. So if you're seeing me, you're there, okay, unless you're on YouTube and happen to see me there. But Yelp is a must if you have an address, if you have a walk-in commercial location office. I suggest being on Yelp. Some people don't want to, if you're in a controversial business where you are likely to get negative comments, even though you're a good person, you might not go to Yelp because there's very little recourse you have if somebody puts something negative up about you, whether it's true or not, because they want people's opinions. But like I have clients in the therapy industry and they work with very difficult people who tend to make other people's lives stressful. Then you may not want to be there. But if you do have a brick and mortar or you have a service that, you know, you're a healthcare provider, you're a home repair of some sort, a home improvement services, beauty, you know, hairdresser, personal care, then definitely go to Yelp. Foursquare, if your customers are into it, so you'll have to know. Snapchat is for the younger crowd, but there are other local brands. I mentioned earlier, Kudzu, Manta, Merchant Circle, Hot Frog. The list goes on and on. I mentioned Thumbtack earlier if you have a home improvement business of some sort. So if anybody has a specific niche and they think they want to be able to find more clients on, then you can put in the chat box and I'll let you know if I can find one, or I'll email you one. As I mentioned earlier, SlideShare is integrated with LinkedIn. So it is really cool for list building. You can put your slides up there, and I might just put these slides up there and be able to have people download them with all your content, and you could put a free offer in there, and they I think you can even have a paid version of SlideShare where you get email addresses for people who download it. It's pretty cool. Tumblr has over 300 million users. It's brand reblogging. It's a microblog reblogging system If your market is there, go there. It's also good for visibility, really great for visibility. Then there's Stumble Upon, there's social bookmarking. They have reasonable advertising, and again, research has shown the 20-something market, all the way up to maybe 35 is there, especially male. So if your market is the men, Stumble Upon is a really great place, and it's really reasonable. So is Reddit. And social bookmarking is like public bookmarking. So if there's a site you like, you stumble it, and that's publicly available for people to see that somebody bookmarked this on the Stumble Upon site. So it doesn't bookmark it in your browser, it bookmarks it in your Stumble Upon account. And Reddit is a bunch of little forums where you can share content as well or do research. Again, it's that male techie, kind of pop culture-y environment as well. So it may not be relevant to you all. So let's talk about branding online now that you know where you're going to be. So if you came up with a thought today during this session that you thought you needed to be on a new network, you haven't been there, you want to make sure your brand is consistent as much as possible across all networks, including your usernames. And hopefully it's reflective of your personal name and brand. If you're in a service-oriented business, or the brand of your business really has a lot to do with you. Like mine is. I'm the social media coach, consultant, speaker, trainer, marketing professional. I'm the content creator. I don't have a team of people creating content for me. So the brand is really about me. And, I'm the one who works with people one-on-one. So it's a personal brand. You may have more of a corporate identity. Now, if it's really you and you don't really have a corporate identity, but you want one, just because you want one doesn't make it the most effective. Just think about it. I'm a big fan of personal brands, not only because I have one and I am one, but, think about even larger brands. If you think about high-end classy brands, even like Hilton or Ritz-Carlton, Gucci, these are all people's names. There's a higher level feel to them. You could actually charge more if you have that. The Bright Smile dental people versus Dr. Gary Weaver is, one has a very personal feel to it. The other one, I'm not so sure about. I question the quality. So that's just my 2 cents on branding. Remember, I'm a marketing person first, a social media marketer second. Okay, so a lot of what I teach is the foundational marketing strategies that you need to really thrive anywhere, whether it's online or offline. Your Facebook username. What do I mean by username? It's your URL that goes facebook.com/something you've customized. Twitter, it's twitter.com/your username. And keep in mind, Twitter usernames can only be 15 characters. So if you've got to keep it consistent throughout all the networks, you might go to Twitter first, get your username there, and hopefully it's as close to your real name as possible, or the name you've branded. Like I branded Coach Laura. And why I did that is because most people spell my last name wrong. Now you're wondering, if you want to see how my last name is spelled correctly, at the bottom of this slide, you can see that. Just for your information there. Oops. So, your Facebook name can be changed once, and shorter is better in general. So here's my little worksheet for you. Twitter and Instagram and Pinterest only let you have up to 15 characters. Facebook can have 50, and that's in this little area here. Okay, it's not the title. Like in Facebook, you also get a title. You can put your first and last name. In Twitter, you put your first and last name. But this is in the URL area, what they call the username area. So you'll see that I couldn't get Coach Laura on Instagram or Pinterest. I had to use Coach Laura R, and that's okay, because on Facebook, you're going to need 2 anyway, because you need one for your profile and one for, at least 2, one for your page. So I have Coach Laura and Coach Laura R. And by the way, anybody who wants to stay connected with me, feel free to go to facebook.com/Coach Laura R. If you want to friend me, please send me a message of how we met, or where you saw me, and I'm happy to. I only have like less than 200 friends left that I can accept. So I'm only connecting with people who have met me or have watched a video or have been on a class with me. So with LinkedIn, I chose to do my personal name because I didn't want anybody else on LinkedIn to have it, just because it's the professional network and people are going to look you up by your name. YouTube Coach Laura was not available, so I chose to put it with a little SEO in there, Laura on social media. So that is my social media channel. I have another one that is Coach LBR, I think, but it's a personal one versus a business one. And then again on Google Plus, you have a profile and a page. Again, Coach Laura was not available. I think now Google Plus is limiting you on your pages. They when you name your page, they basically give you that as the custom URL. This one actually, this is different than my my custom than the name of my page, but I don't think they're giving you that option anymore. At least I couldn't find it yesterday. They changed where they put it. And so this is the thing I want to say about that. And I'm being completely transparent here. I don't know everything about social media, and I will never claim to know everything. I will find out, and things change all the time. So you're not the only one who might feel like there's so much to learn, and there is. And for me, it's just a matter of when I'm constantly reading. I can't read everything though, but when something comes up, a question comes up, and you're welcome to chat in the chat box and ask me questions. And if I don't know the answer, I'm going to go do the research. There's so much, and I have my masterminds, my social media masterminds that I belong to, and my colleagues that I will consult with to get you those answers. So you don't have to spend the time doing that. And if your time is valuable and you don't have a passion for social media, that's okay. I do. I'd be happy to help you. So I promised that I would go over my social media blueprint, the steps at least, so that when you're considering going online and onto social media in a serious way, doing your marketing, really trying to connect with your audience and building your email list, that you're not just trying things out. You want to try them out strategically, okay? You want to know what your brand message is. What are you representing visually, and your personality, and also it also has to do with clarifying the problems you solve for your audience, okay? In the Savvy Social Media Success System, I have a pretty extensive training on clarifying this area, because you do that, everything else is going to fly and soar. You don't clarify the challenges that your market is having in their opinion, not in your opinion. And I'll give you an example of that. I'm a social media marketer and a hypnotherapist. People come to me to lose weight, but I know as a hypnotherapist that you don't need to lose weight. You need to change your habits. You need to slim down. Anything you lose, your brain wants to find, so we don't like to use that. But I'm not going to be going out on social media and saying that. I'm going to talk about weight loss because that's what they're talking about. So you need to know what your message is. Define your objective there. We talked about that earlier. Set your goals so that you know how much activity to do. Choose the right networks. Get set up on them right and optimize them. Then, now that we know our goals and our message and what our market wants, not needs, but wants, okay, we can choose the right strategies to reach those goals and speak to the people in the way they can hear it or get it and be attracted and compel them. And then you have an implementation plan. Who's going to do what when? What content are you going to create? How are you going to build your tribe? And where are you going to engage? Those are the 3 parts of an implementation plan. So you might be wondering at this point, well, gosh, that's a big blueprint. Where should I start? And if that blueprint, if you have some holes in it, then I recommend some social media training, and to the point where you get a strategic marketing plan in place. So here's how I help people solve that and fill in the blanks. It's with the Savvy Social Media Success System, where we define and clarify your social brand. This is where I come in as a social media strategist and a marketing expert to help you think outside the box, help you stay organized and focused, and really make it easy and simple for you to maximize your effort and minimize your time spent figuring everything out. Because I've spent hundreds, if not thousands of hours studying this, and I'm really excited to align with the passions of the great work of people like you. So we go for this first step of clarifying your social brand. We identify the right networks for you, then help you optimize your accounts, and put together a strategic profit plan. So today you're either in one of two places. You already have a well-crafted, like say to yourself, do I have a well-crafted social media marketing plan? I just would like more exposure. Or do I need a simple system that shows me how to get up, set up, and connected with my profit market and a plan? So if you're in Camp A, you might just want to refine your plan, and so that it gets more exposure. If you're in Camp B, I would like to help you get your social media act together, because when you get socially savvy, first of all, you'll explode your credibility, your visibility, your influenceability. You multiply the traffic to your website. You actually become widely known as the go-to leader, the authority in your industry, that expert that people go to and recommend and start, raving about to other people. And if you're savvy, I'm showing you how to save time, and you know how to get the maximum benefit out of these social networks. Leverage those insider strategies to grow your tribe, as I call it, your tribe of fans and friends, followers, connections, depending on your network. Okay, like Karen did. Dr. Karen Kramer, she's a teen and young adult life coach. She increased her followers. She was part of the system. She took my training, I think, 2 or 3 times. It was called the Social Media Blast-Off System. And she increased her followers by 41% on likes on Facebook, 68% in LinkedIn connections, 500% on Twitter. And what that allowed her to do, those are nice numbers, but she got new markets, new clients, and great strategic partners to expand her brand. I really love working with passionate solopreneurs, coaches, wellness professionals, authors, speakers, small business owners. It just gets me excited to support their success. So I'd like to invite you to the Savvy Social Media Success System. We have virtual training. It's easy to follow, step-by-step system that we have, and complete with rich action guides that give you the keys to explode your network. And we provide the marketing templates. It's like almost done, as close to done for you as possible, because I want you to be able to fill in the blanks and go with my shortcut strategies, free tools to maximize your influencer status. I share all the resources so you have the tools to be a savvy social media marketer out there online. That value, as you see, is $16.97 with everything I'm including in the Savvy Social Media Success System. And well, of course, I can't just leave it at the modules that we're going to give you. I'm going to also have a live call every month and a Facebook group. So we call this the Social Media Momentum Club on Facebook, and you'll have the chance to be in a hot seat each month asking questions to each part of the system you're implementing. And also during this monthly call, you'll get updates on changes on social media. I'm also going to give you my book, a digital copy of it, Social Media Myths Busted, The Small Business Guide to Online Revenue. And if you have any resistance to social media, this will help you get over it and also give you some great strategies as well. And it has over 30 experts in there who have contributed their strategies as well. So like I said, I like to collaborate with my colleagues on things. I'm also, I think I mentioned this earlier, going to include my Google Hangouts on Air Master Guide to Webcasting, where you get all my list of tools, and also you get another training similar to this, except I go way more into depth on the best practices to boosting your bottom line And that is the Savvy Social Media Success System. It's on special today for you for $4.97, but I'm giving you another special gift for today's people who are here of $100 off because I'm just launching it. It doesn't start until, I mean, the content will not be available until March 1st, so we're in pre-launch time. So you can get all signed up now, and starting March 1st, you'll have access to the first module, and you'll be getting a new module each week. And I haven't decided it's going to be 2 20-minute videos. Probably each module will be about 2 20-minute videos for you. And then the action guides, and who knows, there may be other bonus material because I will record video with changes that come out or a new strategy. So they'll be you'll get notified that new content is available for you in our membership area. So simply to take advantage of this, you go to SavvySocialMediaSuccess.com and you click the Join Us button and enter that Savvy 100 code. And for yours, only $3.97, you can have this whole entire program and work with me for 6 months. So it's like you can't beat this kind of a deal for social media training and expertise to really get yourself going and growing on the networks and finally seeing some results. That's what I want people to see. So I mentioned that everyone who stayed to the end gets a free gift, so thank you for staying. And I'd like to offer you a social media mini makeover session. I'm only doing this for a short time. I don't normally offer a free 20-minute session, but if you're interested, go to yescoachlaura.com and fill out the form. It's just my contact form on my website, and I believe that's where it goes. Let me verify that. And if it doesn't, go to mylaurarubinstein.com and no, actually that doesn't. You know where it goes? It goes right to my calendar. You can pick a time for yourself to sign up for a 20-minute session with me. It doesn't actually have a 20-minute, defaults to 30. That's fine. Choose the 30 minutes. We both know that we have 20 minutes we're going to take. So choose a couple of times. I will confirm one. And be sure to give me your phone number so I know who to call at that time. And if you're in front of your computer, that would be optimal at the time of our scheduled session, because I'm going to look at one network and make it over with you. So again, thank you for being here. If you want to stay in touch with me, I'm on Twitter at Coach Laura, Facebook Coach Laura R. The course is at SavvySocialMediaSuccess.com. If you want to be in touch with me because you want some stuff done for you, call me, email me. And as always, my blog is at transformtoday.com, and that's where I put more content. So please stay in touch one way or another. We will see you out there on social media. And here's to your social media success and becoming a savvy social media marketer. Bye for now. And I thought I'd come back online and say hi and bye. Duh, that would have been good, right? So thanks for staying here, and we will see you soon. Bye.